The next text, resulting in ambivalent interpretation, is often called Lamech's song. It is Genesis chapter 4, verses 23 and 24. I'm reading from New International Version. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, listen to me. Wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for injuring me. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. The questions arising here with different approaches are as follows. Number 1. How many men has Lamech killed? Number 2. Has he killed them at all? Number 3. Why has he killed them? Number 4. How does he feel about that? And number 5. What does is avenged 77 times mean? All the 5 questions led to multiple interpretations. First of all, the man and the young man who Cain has killed, are they 2 or 1? Sounds like 2, but we will soon see that it was characteristic of ancient Oriental poetry to say the same or nearly the same twice, using parallel structures with some alterations. That's why it's quite possible that a young man for injuring me is just a doublet of a man for wounding me, and in fact it was the same person. Why he addresses his wives in the same style. Wives of Lamech are the same Ada and Zillah that have just been named. Secondly, the verb harakti, translated as killed, means exactly that. The problem is that ancient Hebrew was poor in verbal grammar. The few forms it had served several meanings each. In particular, the past tense of the verb could be used for unrealistic actions, like English would kill. The Jews didn't have anything like this would. Thus, there is an opinion that it's not a real murder he has committed that Lamech is talking about, but the fact that he has now such weapons, they were forged by his son Tubal-Cain, that could be used for killing a man and a young man if they thought of fighting him. There is another option, to consider this not as a statement, but as a rhetorical question. Have I killed a man for wounding me? Then comes up ambiguity of the preposition le in the words lefetzi and lechaborati. The first option, that preposition expresses the reason for which Lamech has killed those men or man. Another way to interpret the preposition le is to believe that he expresses not the reason for killing, but its result. Then it turns out that the murder really happened, but the wound and the injury aren't why Lamech has killed, but what he has got because of it. By committing the murder, he has inflicted a wound on his own soul. And then his speech to his wives isn't a brag nor a threat, but pain in his soul due to impossibility to make amends for what has been done. As for avenged 77 times, we will see the diversity of interpretation in the examples of commentaries I'm going to give. Saint Ephraim the Syrian. Just as God caused Cain to remain so that 7 generations would perish with him, so God will cause me to remain, because I have killed 2, so that 77 generations should die with me. Before the 77 generations come, however, we will die, and through the cup of death that we taste, we will escape from the punishment which, because of me, will extend to 77 generations. Basil the Great. It is right that I should undergo 490 punishments. If God's judgment on Cain was just, that his punishments should be 7. Cain had not learned to murder from another, and had never seen a murderer undergoing punishment. But I, who had before my eyes Cain groaning and trembling, and the mightiness of the wrath of God, was not made wiser by the example before me. Wherefore I deserve to suffer 490 punishments. John Chrysostom, a remarkable saying, very remarkable in fact, and a highly commendable attitude on the man's part. Not only does he confess his crime and bring the murders he has committed out into the open, but also by comparing Cain's crimes with his, he imposes the punishment on himself. Geneva Study Bible. He mocked at God's tolerance in Cain, jesting as though God would allow no one to punish him and yet give him permission to murder others. I won't weary you now by reading out from other authors' notes on Lamech's words. If you open collections of works by early church fathers and modern commentaries, you'll be able to delight in an incredible stream of their eloquence. All of that is now available online for free or can be obtained for a token fee. However, having read what was said in various ages by various respectable men of faith concerning this scripture, you will understand one thing. Nobody knows for sure what the author who put Lamech's song to his wives in his mouth meant. Everyone chooses the interpretation which best matches his idea of the beauty, logic, and common sense.